Hi there, and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Spaldman, and today we'll be going over the configuration segment. Now, as you know, we've already went over the diary segment, so today we're going to go over the configuration segment. So, without wasting any more of your valuable time, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is navigate over to the configuration segment. I've got my login screen. Firstly, I'll log in and then I'll head over to the GoodX wheel and click configuration. Now, this is our configuration segment. First up, we have the cash register management. Now, this is where we manage the payments made by the patient to the practice for the services rendered. Now, because this is a mock entity that I'm using here, I'm just going to link the user manual on how to go over the cash register management. This is something that is set up by your support staff, so you can always log a ticket with your support staff for your cash register to be set up. Alright, so right now I'm going to add some screenshots as if we had a cash register management already set up here. Okay, these screenshots that I'm going to use are also then available on the cash register user manual that I've linked in the description. Alright, so this is our cash register user manual. As you can see, once we've logged into the GoodX system, the first thing that you'll see is the attention with cash register and float amount. Now, the cash register is where we select the person who will be using the cash register, and our float amount is our starting balance for the day. So that's our float amount. Okay. Once it's set up, you'll see your cash register set up in the tab that we're in now. So that's our cash register. Next to that, we have sessions. So basically the sessions are just showing you the session that the cash register was open for. This could be for a shift or this could be for the entire day. And we can then also download our report once the session has been closed. And once you click close session, you will then have to do your cash up for the day. Okay, so you would have to fill in your amount, the total amount that you got in cash, total amount that you got in check, credit card, co-payment, so forth and so forth. All right, and then once that is done, the next one that we have there is then the over to the recon. Now the recon tab is if we have any discrepancy. Okay, so just to reconcile any discrepancy that we have, this is where it will come. So you can see exactly where this discrepancy rather is. Okay, so as you can see there, you'll give a reason for your discrepancy just for auditing purposes. All right, so that is the cash register that we have. As I said, you could always contact your FCL to assist you with your cash register. So that's the session as we went over, and that is the recon as we went over. Now, right next to that, we've got the medical aid list. Now, this is just a list of all the medical aids that we do have on hand or that we do have on the system. And you can search for the medical aid via the administrator, you can search for the medical aid via scheme, or you can select to search for the medical aid via the medical aid option. Okay, so this is a list of all the medical aids that we have, and you can search as you see there. You can search by the scheme name, by the code, by the description, or even the scheme code. Now, I think perhaps the most important or the most beneficial feature here is this toggle that we have here. As you can see, we've got it set to active. Now, as you can see here, that all these medical aid options are active. If I were to set it over to false, inactive, and the red X there, you will see that all these medical aid options are now inactive. As you can see there, false. All right. If I set it to the middle, it will then show me a combination of both the active and the inactive medical aids. All right, so you could always toggle there to see all the medical aids that are active, all the medical aids that are inactive, or you could select to see both of them. If you'd like maybe to just, sort the column, right? You could always click on any one of the columns on these two arrows that you find on the side, and it will then sort your column alphabetically, starting from the numbers into the alphabets, or upside down, starting from the last alphabet all the way down to the numbers. And you can sort any column that you'd like. All right, you can sort the medical aid scheme, the name, so forth and so forth. So you can always set your column in that manner. Now, right next to that, we've got the practitioner setup. As you can see, we've got our treating practitioner, we've got our referring practitioner, we even got our assistant practitioners as well. Now this, if you'd like to load a new practitioner, you can simply load your new practitioner there, fill in all the practitioner's details, and select whether it's treating, referring, assistant, or staff. Okay, so just an example over here, let's toggle, or let's filter rather, our different types of practitioners that we have here. And once we have them filtered, what I want us to look at is our disabled column here. All the ones that are false means that they are enabled. So it's false that it is disabled. And all the ones that are true, right, that means they have been disabled. So it is true that this specific practitioner is disabled. Okay, so it's just the inverse of the active, where the active, if you said true, it meant that it was active. So here, if it is disabled, it will show the value of true. So if it is true, that means that specific practitioner is disabled. We also have the multidisciplinary practice roles over here. This is where you can set up the multidisciplinary practitioners over here. I just want to show you as well our treating practitioners. As you can see, our treating practitioners that we've added are all here in the treating practitioner drop down, and our referring practitioners as well are also here in our drop down. And as you can see, the Jordan that was disabled is still here, but we can't select him because it has been disabled. All right, and we've got our referring practitioners here. Okay, let's go back to our configuration. So that was just a practitioner, that setup that we went over. And then right next to that, we've got the audit log. Now the audit log is just an account for each and every single event that is taken on the system. Okay, so this is just, if we ever want to find where the fault is, we could always come to our audit log and see what was happening with that specific event, or the actions rather that were taken on that specific event. We've got an audit log of all those actions, and you could set to the time that where the action was taken, and you could also set to the date where the action was taken as well. We can also filter by the usernames that are taking the action and the action itself. Okay, so this is just for troubleshooting purposes mostly. Right next to that, we've got the smart stickers. The smart stickers, obviously our protocols are all here for the smart stickers, and this is where we could set them up. Okay, now as you know, if I were to just show you where you navigate to the smart stickers, come over here, go over to clinical, and there we have our smart sticker protocols that we can configure rather in the configuration segment. And then next to that, we've got our workflow event configuration. This is where we set up all our configuration for our different templates that we would like to use for our workflow events. And right next to that, we've got the printing templates. Now these printing templates are specific to letters for the preamble and the postamble. Okay, so this is like a setting within a setting. Okay, so let's just go over an example. Over here, I'm going to look specifically for a letter workflow event. Okay, we've got our preamble and we've got our postamble there. Now, as you can see, we can go in and we can edit this preamble that we have here. So anything that we do here on printing templates rather, will then show up over here. Okay, so I'm just going to make a small example just to show you exactly what I'm speaking of. Okay, so let's set up, we'll call this preamble template, and we can say this is a preamble template. Just as an example, we could also add a table if we'd like. So this is our template, and then we have our template there. If I go over to workflow event, and I search specifically for letter once again, when I open it, there my preamble template will then, and once I click there my preamble template will then populate. Okay, I'm not going to save that. And then right next to that, we have our user management. Now, we've got all our active users here, and we've got all our deleted users over here as well. So for example, if I want to reinstate this admin, I can always reinstate it, and it will be there part of our active users. Now, I want to show you that there's a key difference between this user management and the user setup. Our user setup over here deals mostly with privileges and the access right that the specific user has, whereas our user management deals with how the person interacts with the specific entity, how that user interacts with that specific entity. If I go over down to general settings, we can even select the default entity that the specific user will open up to, whether it's GP, dentist, so forth and so forth. So we can select the default entity. We can then also select the authentication type over here. The person has a password. We can add PIN or add facial recognition. So we can also add different authentication factors, and we can make combinations of those factors. All right. And over here, we can select then the default menu that opens up once the person logs into the system. All right, so these are all the different settings that we can change for the specific user. There we can also create like booking types for the person, booking statuses, and we can make all different settings, basically, as it suggests, managing this specific user over here. All right, right next to that, we've got authentication factors. So as we saw there, we went over the different authentication factors, whether it's facial recognition, whether it's passwords or PIN. Right? So if you ever want to expire, let's say, for example, let's go over to Dr. Hroblar. If for any reason you want to expire a specific password, you can then click on the user and expire. What this will do is that it will expire the password temporarily. You could always go back and reactivate the password, but if for any reason you just want to put up a security safety measure to expire the specific password, it could be a PIN as well. You can expire it. You can set the date for it to expire and the time for it to expire, right? So if I expire that specific password over there, it will show you when that specific password was expired. Right next to that, we've got sessions. So this is just showing us when the person logged in and when the person logged out, right? And there you can see we've got our date and we've got our time. That is today. Up until now, we've still got our date and our time. So for instance, from 8 till 10, and DocSpam is still logged in. So that's just the session that the person was logged in for, all right? On the next tab, we've got our profile setups. So we can set up our different profiles over here. First, we've got the data statement profiles. We can edit our data statement profiles. So you can see this one is a 30-day statement with codes. And you'll see the reason for that is we've asked for this specific profile to also include ICD-10 codes. So we could always change that, and we can just take out with codes. It will then pull up a 30-day statement when we ask for that specific statement over in our data section. Also, we can set up our report profiles. So there you can set up your report profile. You could also set up your data drill down profile. So as you can see there, we've got our 3 months drill down, we've got our general drill down, and so forth. We can always edit our drill downs and create our own custom templates for our drill down reports. All right. Right next to that, we've got the patient dashboard. So we could here as well, we are then configuring rather how our dashboard will look like. So that was just an overview of the configuration segment. For additional support, please do contact your FCL and they can assist you in making any changes or creating your own templates. In the next video, we'll be going over the communication segment. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay safe.